Hello there. My name is Mr. Chuku. I am happy to be here with you. I think we will have a good time learning new things in the world of science. Are you happy to be here too? Then, that's great. In this lesson, we will learn about something completely new. It is about the game of basketball. Are you excited already? Let's see what it is all about. Basketball is one of the most popular sports in the world. It is played with a ball and a hoop. The hoop is like a net with an opening at the bottom. Players score points by shooting the ball through the hoop. Basketball is a handball game that is played by two teams of 5 players. Players need to get the ball through a hoop mounted high up on a backboard at each end. It is a very popular sport worldwide, played with a round orange ball that bounces. The game is played between men's teams or between women's teams. Basketball has been played in the Olympic Games since 1936. In December 1891, a man named James Naismith, a Canadian physical education teacher at Springfield College in Springfield, Massachusetts, invented an indoor game called basketball. He invented the sport to keep his students from becoming bored during the winter. James Naismith wrote the basic rules and then nailed a pitch basket onto a 10-foot tall pole like this. Unlike modern basketball hoops, the bottom of the pitch basket was still there. So after a point was scored, somebody had to get the ball out of the basket with a long stick. After a while, people made a hole at the bottom of the basket so the ball could go through more easily. The score of the first game of basketball ever played was 1-0. When the game was invented, there were no rules. Because of this, there was no maximum number of players at that time, unlike today. This also meant that there were no set rules to the game. As people played the game more and more, James Naismith only learned new things about the game and changed the rules. Now, the game of basketball has a few rules, and we need to know what they are. In the game of basketball, players need to score more points than the other team by shooting the ball in the basket. Shooting the ball in the basket will help the team win 1, 2, or 3 points. You get points by shooting the ball into the opponent's basket. The team with the most points at the end of the game wins. The basketball court where the game is played is a rectangle shape, and at both end lines there is a goal called a hoop in the shape of a circle basket with the bottom cut out. In each game of basketball, these things are required: basketball, basketball court, basketball hoop, and backboard. In a game of basketball, some people do not belong to any team, but they are there to help. They are called officials. That is OFFICIALS. Officials are very important because without them, the game would not run properly. That was interesting, right? Now let us remind ourselves some important things we learned in the lesson. A. Basketball is one of the most popular sports in the world that is played with a ball and a hoop. B. The hoop is a net with a hole at the bottom. C. Basketball is a handball game that is played by 2 teams of 5 players. D. Players need to get the ball through a hoop mounted high up on a backboard at each end. E. The game was invented by a man called James Naismith. Amazing! We've learned something new today, and it was about the game of basketball. But just before we finish off this lesson, let me ask you some questions. They will help you remember things even more. Number 1. What do you call a handball game that is played by 2 teams of 5 players? Great! It is called a game of basketball. Number 2. In the game of basketball, players need to score more points than the other team by shooting the ball into what? You are absolutely correct. Players have to shoot the ball into the basket. You've done amazingly well in this lesson. It was fun learning something new. In the next lesson, we will learn more interesting things. Until then, bye for now.